What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's Monday. Are you back? Are you back from before? Are you back from before? Because before was Sunday, and now it's Monday. Coming at you live on a Monday at 1 o'clock, plus 6 minutes, because I had to finish my soup. Believe it or not, I had top ramen for lunch today because I'm 40 years old. Grown man eating top ramen for lunch. Boy, howdy, what is this world coming to? Who knows the answer to that question? I believe nobody knows the answer to that question. But it's saving me a couple of dollars. Yes. Imagine the savings and lack of health. Anyhow, good times today. Good to be broadcasting out here on a Monday. I'm making sure that this is clipped back in. I had to move a bunch of stuff around today. We did a little cleaning in the office, vacuuming, checking the spider webs and moving things around and vacuuming up dust and stuff. And it's cleaner in here than it was before, but still messy. That's the word. Not dirty, messy. I've just got stuff kind of sitting around in here. So that's all good, but I will tell you, the organization is coming. The organization is continuing, and that is all gravy. I want to check something out. Somebody let me know if this is visible on the stream. Hold on. I won't know for like 30 seconds or something. I don't know if this is visible on the stream. I guess we're going to find out. YouTube's telling me we have a poor connection, so anybody let me know if it's working properly or not, and I guess I'll... Oh, yeah, it does. It shows up on the stream. It shows up on the stream. What? How do I make this go away? If this... let me see. I guess I'm going to have to get rid of this thing? Okay, that's how it works. All right, there we go. Hey, I had to make that, that thing go away there. There we go. Yeah, I have a new feature added into the live stream in case somebody super chats today. We shall see how well it works. I don't know. I added that in, and I didn't really have any method of testing it to see if it works properly or not. So I guess we'll see what happens if somebody accidentally super chats. Then we'll find out what's going on. But let's get into saying what's up to everybody in the chat. Mirdul Singh, Soren Johansson, and Mismatch Socks coming in 1, 2, 3, and Frank Dominguez in 4th. Steve, excuse me, what is that? Something, I don't know. Steve Bearteach, is that right? I don't know. Probably got it wrong, but that's all right. Steve, what's up, my guy? Rumbust is here. Rumbust not feeling good. It might go back to bed. Understandable, my guy. I considered going back to bed today. I know how it feels. So I respect that. I respect that. Pipex is here. Daryl Dimer, who knows. Kiwi Mamo, Ninja Ghost got robbed for the second. My message obviously didn't load. Oh no! You got to make sure that your comments load. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure that they load. Oh, we have a super chat here, and the alert thing didn't work. I wonder if this works. Nope. Yeah. No, I don't think this stupid thing works. Show alert. Stream text. What? Test alert. No, I don't know. It doesn't work. Okay. Well, I guess there we go. I guess we had the answer that we were looking for. This doesn't work. It's not doing this. It's not doing that. It just does. It makes this box here. Okay. Well, this is a completely useless. There was like a flashing outline. It sort of worked. Oh, okay. Well, as it turns out, this is a totally useless add-on then, because this one doesn't work, although people said that it worked. So however it's set up, it doesn't seem to work. How dumb? How dumb is that? Okay, so we add this thing. It makes that box. We do the show alert. It does nothing. There is no sound. The font is whatever. Hide super chat message. I mean, come on. This is the dumbest thing. Why, what? Should I refresh it and see what happens? Oh, now it's all tiny, and then it went over there. Okay, so it refreshed. It's all... What a dumb... How dumb is this? Okay, well, never mind. I want to... How do I... Can I... Oh, damn it. I can't refund. Okay, I guess that's Twitch thing. Crap. Okay, well, hey, man. I don't know. This thing is supposed to be... YouTube Super Chat Alert, and it doesn't work. So, yeah. The font is, I don't know, should I change the font? Oh, cool, it makes it like that. Well, I don't know, dude. How does anything work in the year 2020? Like, here, add this to your Stream Deck, and you do, and then this is what it does. So I bet now they probably just have my authorization information, right? And they probably just stole my information, and now they're going to steal my YouTube channel. That's probably what's going to happen. So I guess people would look forward to that. There's a likelihood that now they have my login information or something. So that's cool. We got that going for us. Either way, you know, yeah, you can literally like open this thing up, and this is it. I guess this is as good as it gets. Source automatic. Ooh, maybe I have to change the source right there. Refresh. Let's see if that works. Nope. So it's supposed to be automatic, but it also had like a source option here. Huh. Well, I don't know. We have everything turned on. I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know. Let's see if something else happens. Well, that was a free piece of software that doesn't seem to work. Yep. I don't know. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to Monday with a shot to the heart on a free piece of software. I guess what a waste of time. Either way, let's say hi to everybody else and continue on with whatever the show is. Rico Stan is lurking. Got a project going on. Thank you, Rico, for the $5 super chat. It says let's get this over with. I don't know. It didn't seem to show up. Yeah. Let's see. If you need to make a second new channel, I suggest going with initials and a 2. Which initials, though? Rumbust, I'm into it. Which initials? Because my other channel actually already has a name and everything. So that already exists. You guys probably don't know what it is, though, because it's a mystery. It's a secret mystery, and I also have a third channel in the works. Oh, CO2. Okay, that makes sense. I'm a bit dense, my guys. I'm sorry. I was out doing the runaround getting parts today to hopefully shoot another video. The final part of a video that I was shooting was the CO2 video. And I'm at the point again where I don't think I can actually make and release the video. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the live stream's a good spot to kind of announce this sort of stuff. I got a CO2 regulator. I got the splitter with the built-in drop check, or not the drop checker, bubble counter and check valve. And the regulator and everything seems to work just fine. No problems there. The bubble counter check valves do not work well at all. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that video. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that video and honestly go at the end like, yeah, this is great. Do what I did. Because it's super frustrating. And I don't necessarily want to just throw either... I don't want to throw either a company under the bus or like recommend them to you guys. You know what I mean? So I'm in between a rock and a hard place that like I want to finish and release videos, but the 3 or 4 videos I have right now that are kind of made, like I can't finish them and say like, yes, this is solidly a piece of advice. So I'm kind of just sitting on those in the meantime. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe it starts working. Maybe there's a resolution. Maybe I should swap them out for the newer version. I don't know what's going to happen, but it sucks, man. I hate having to put all that work in and then be like, I have a product that I can't release. So maybe I'll end up releasing it on a different channel and just be like, don't buy this. It sucks right at the beginning. And then maybe people could at least figure out how to do the setup of like a different brand, you know? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what shakes out and what comes out of coming down the pipe. The one brand that I want to test, I can't afford to buy it. I can't afford to buy it. And the previous conversations that I've had with that company is we don't sponsor people with our equipment. If people want our equipment, it's the best. And it's hard to say if it's the best or not. It's definitely the most expensive around. Steve is asking, does the CO2's company name rhyme with F-Zone? Nope, it does not. It is not that brand. So people are going to keep asking the brand. I'm just not going to say it, but it's not F-Zone. So yeah, stay comfortable in that. I do recommend the F-Zone one because it works. So, and it seems to be the cheapest one on Amazon. It's just what I have noticed is that it seems to be well, I guess cheapest is the wrong word. It's not the cheapest. It seems like the most affordable with the quality. F-Zone CO2 reg. Yeah, because at like $142, you get a dual stage regulator. You get a dual stage regulator, right? Let me see. DC solenoid integrated. And you get the needle valve bubble counter. You get 2 of them, so you get 2 output off of 1 tank. I think it's pretty reasonable. You know, I mean, I think in all honesty, it's pretty reasonable for $142. I'm going to post a link in the chat just in case anybody is wondering what the F I'm talking about. This is a decent regulator with the electronic solenoid and all that stuff. And be aware, we are an Amazon affiliate, so if you click on that kind of stuff and you go through and then you buy something, it doesn't cost you any more money, but it does kick back money to the channel. So if you don't want that to happen, then don't be involved in it. Then don't click anything. But that's what I'm talking about right there, just so you knows what's up. Oh, man, excuse me. I kind of almost had like a burp or something there. I don't know what that was. It's probably the top ramen fighting my insides and trying to murder me. Like, have you ever seen that movie Aliens? It's Alien 1. We might be, we might be looking at that situation on stream here, and if that does, we will get seriously demonetized, but I probably won't be concerned about it because then I'd get eaten, or I'd get dead, right? Rogers Aquarium says, don't eat Roman. Well, I wouldn't never eat Roman. I eat that top ramen, bro. I love them noodles, man. I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but I love those noodles, and when you buy a big case of it, you realize lunch costs about 50 cents. I don't think you could beat that. It's a dumb idea, though. It's really not recommended. I would not recommend that for people. But I do generally take a multivitamin and what do you call that? Vitamin C and stuff like that with it. So maybe that counteracts. I really doubt it does counteract it. It's just like straight fat and salt, so it's probably not good. Aquarium Treasures, how much to run CO2 on a 125 monthly? Well, one of the errands that I had to run this morning was to get some CO2 tanks. Now, refilled is not the right term. I exchange mine. So when I go to a welding supply store, which I buy other stuff there too. So it's a store that I go to from time to time anyhow. I take my empty tanks there. I drop them off on the loading bay. I go in. I mask up. I go in. I go, hey, I got 2 20-pounders out there or whatever, however many I've got out there. A guy will run out. He'll take the empty ones, he puts them in the back, he brings out the same equivalent tank, but full. I pay, I leave, boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? And that just makes my life easier. It does cost a couple of bucks more. I got a 20-pounder filled today and a 5-pounder filled today. Now, normally I don't ever get a 5-pounder filled. I realistically only normally get the 20-pounders filled. I normally get 2 at a time. And it normally costs about, what is it? It's like $44. Something like that. I don't know. Today was $49 because you essentially have like the base charge and then the volume of CO2 that you get. So it basically comes out to the same price if I get a 5 and a 20 or 2 20s filled, right? So today it was like $49 after tax and the hazmat charge and all that kind of stuff. So $49 for those 2 tanks. So the 5-pounder that I put onto the 60-gallon, let's say the last time I swapped that was in... The last time I, air quote, swapped it is when I set it up because I changed the CO2 out. The reactor that I built, I put a new reactor on there. I think that was April, so probably 6 months. So realistically, like $25 for 6 months, $50 a year. You're probably somewhere in that range, like $50 a year divided by whatever. I don't know. How many months are in a year? 13, I think. Because of the extra weeks. Let's just $5 a month or something. The reality is like a long time ago, I was doing the math on liquid CO2 amendment to the aquarium versus gas. And there was just no way that liquid would ever be the same cost. Because eventually, you might be able to do a stopgap situation where you do some liquid carbon amendment to your aquarium. But that's not going to help because it's a recurring cost every month, right? It's a recurring cost every single month. And then eventually you surpass that cost with savings, right? So that's ultimately the situation that you're kind of dealing with there is that like maybe the point of entry on gas CO2 is more because like that CO2 regulator and stuff was $140. You just hook that up to a timer. Hopefully you have a timer already. Maybe you have to buy one. They're like $5. Then you get a tank, which I always tell people to just buy a used tank that's empty off of Craigslist or something like that. You find them for like $30, $20, $10, sometimes $50. Brand new, they're like $100. I think, although now with the pandemic going on, I have no idea what the prices look. Let's actually just take a look on Amazon real quick because that's generally speaking, everybody has Amazon, so it's not like... let's go with a 20 pounds tank. Let's find a 20-pound tank. Well, here's a 5-pound tank that's $65 one-day delivery with Prime shipping, so you probably aren't going to pay the shipping. You know what I mean? We got, what else do we got here? Looks like there's one here for $109, but it's like $25 worth of shipping. So, I mean, it looks like $130 or something like that for a 20-pound tank. But most of you guys are probably going to want a 5-pound tank, so that looks to be about $65. There seems to be a bunch on here for 5 pounds. And the reason I say just buy the empty tank. First of all, they can't ship it to you full, so you're going to get an empty tank, and then you're going to either have to go get it filled or swap it out, which I just go straight to the swapping because that's way more time effective for me. And I just overall like a much better way to, utilize my time and my energy. Like I said, it might be $2 more or something like that, but it seems like just a much better method for me. But because of the time factor. The time factor is really important to me. I don't know about you guys, but the time factor to me, like I do not want to be standing around for half an hour while somebody is messing around trying to fill up one of my CO2 tanks, Like it's just nuts to be wasting all that time when I could stay busy. Ninja Ghost says the noodles themselves aren't too unhealthy, but that seasoning pack is full of salt, and that's where the heartburn comes from. Yeah, I think, I think he's trying to say heart disease. Would be my guess. There's been a lot of studies around the salt and heart problems and that kind of stuff. Doesn't necessarily seem to be 100% true out here in the 21st century with some of the increased studies that they've been doing. That salt maybe isn't as bad for people as they thought it was. And I think it has a lot to do with the old studies of like sugar versus fat and all that kind of stuff. I think they're finding out that there may or may not have been some screwball nonsense going on in the past with some of those scientific findings may or may not have been 100% legitimate. But we should probably advertise the channel here real quick. I'll try to make it as entertaining as possible. Have you ever been over to Patreon? Patreon is a third-party page. This is a fan-funded affair around here. I rely on... we rely on people joining up on either Patreon or on YouTube. If you think my content is worth a kick in the old pants or whatever, I would appreciate it. I know our community would appreciate it if you felt like $1 a month is something that you're all about. Our most recent patronizer took advantage of our savings nowadays. You can sign up for the whole year. And who was it? Where did it go? I got to look through my crazy email situation here. Patreon. Oh, where did it go? Who is our newest patron? I don't know. It seems to have disappeared from my list of emails. I don't know. I normally just look right over at the email and it's there. I don't know. But our newest member over on the Patreon family took advantage of our year membership where you can join up for the whole year at $1 a month, and then you get a savings, right? So you get 10% off. You can opt for the 10% off or not, whatever. It's just the thing that you could do. If you're into it, go for it. If not, then you don't have to. But we're reliant on being able to try and keep doing this channel. We did lose about 50% of our funding. We lost 2 sponsors that were going to sponsor products and videos this year and projects and plane tickets and all that kind of stuff. So I much appreciate people hanging on and doing that. And the YouTube members, we got to update that number. It went up to 103. Then it went down to 101. Then our boy Michael came back, the newest back into the fold of YouTube membership, and brought us back from getting just precariously close to 100. I don't think I could wrap my mind around going under 100 again without just having a fit of depression. That's just an admission of being 8 months into this, 7 months into this pandemic. It's legitimate, and it's a thing. I'm feeling the pressure of this pandemic. I don't know about you guys. I'm feeling it a bit last couple days, just being a little bit out of sorts, but we shall continue on into the next year and the year after and the year after, and we'll just keep rocking and rolling. We're going to do what we can. I have a camera. I have a computer. I will continue to make content as much as I can, and because we have members and stuff like that, I 100% feel obligated to do it. So not only through my obligation, but also my own desire to make stuff, I will continue to do and make and blah, blah, blah. Like I was talking about earlier, that CO2 video, I just couldn't conscionably be like, let me recommend this CO2 unit because it's not even working very well right out the gate. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to take them apart at some point, see what happens, put them back together, and then maybe that will be the end of the video that like, hey, I had this problem. Here's how I fixed it. I don't know how I fixed it yet. So that video will just sit on a hard drive and wait. Anyhow, YouTube members, 102, Patreon up to 216, down from 238 after the a lot of people's credit cards are expiring, and I don't know if that's something that you all are concerned about, but it seems to be a thing that's happening of late. But either way, much appreciate the 216 plus 102. This math today is super easy. I'm a wizard. I know what you guys are going to say. You're going to say, I know what you guys are going to say. You're going to be like, 318? How did he come up with that number? I mean, he's a math whiz kid. I mean, hello, Harvard. I added, okay, and I came up with the number. Although, I would remind anybody that watched Friday's show, I did screw up on the theorems. Is it a theorem? Solving for circles and circumference and area of circles and blah, 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 all that stuff. I kind of screwed it up. Instead of the circumference is 2 pi r. That's what it is. Okay. We'll just live with that. I'll have made that statement, and hopefully anybody that was mad, that was like, this dummy got circumference wrong. And I would put myself in that category of people that were like, hey, this guy's dumb. And it was bothering me, so I figured I would mention it today just so you guys know. I do my best to correct screwing anything up. You know what I mean? I try to do my best, but nobody got mad at me, really. It was just me going like, God, I'm dumb. And then I was like waking up about it. And then, you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh no. It's not pi r squared for circumference. It's 2 pi r. Oh, luckily my job wasn't on the line, So we survived. We're doing well. Booking some more extra jobs and stuff with some friends of the channel, which may or may not make a video out of it. I really doubt it. I feel doubtful that I'll make a video out of it. I might, but who knows. Either way, going good. Got some cool stuff to look forward to with that crap. And that's good. Okay. Got a bunch of people showing up. Bentley, Pasco. I always say Pascal, and I'm dumb. But yeah, I've already admitted I'm dumb. Let's just move on. Bentley just showing up. Chris John showing up. Good to see you guys showing up on a Monday, man. You're like, I always feel like, Monday has a reputation, and I think it follows through on that reputation. I think it's a garnered reputation. Like, it deserves the reputation it gets, because Monday is just funky. You know what I mean? And for years and years, running kitchens, you work generally 7 days a week, but Tuesday is the day. If you were going to have a day off, as a head chef, running restaurants, running kitchens, that kind of stuff, Tuesday was the day. So I always had this powerful emotion towards Tuesdays being probably the best day of the week, and it somehow was just shoehorned in with probably one of the worst days of the week, I think, which is this whole Monday situation. I just think the structure of our society needs to consider making a change so that the pressure of Monday could just, like, take it back a little bit. Like, take the pressure off this Monday situation a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe swap it out for Sunday for a while. I don't know. Maybe Sunday could be the Monday, and we just move the calendar around a little bit, right? I mean, we are the bastions of our own destiny, correct? I think we're in charge. I think we're in charge as peoples, humans, right? I think so. Big D Smoke says, dang, and I thought I did good taking math class, calculus in high school. Yeah, I think I did. I think I did far too many drugs in math class in high school to be considered to have excelled. And then I had to take all this when I was going to college, I had to take all this retake all these math classes, and I realized I probably knew more math than I thought. But I also have no idea how to engineer a spaceship. So I'm probably just in the range of average person as far as math goes, right? Yeah, I think where my strong suit is math and music, art, and then probably reading and writing comprehension and that kind of stuff. I think that's probably where my strong suits are, realistically, if I had to self-assess. Tiffany White is here. What's up, Tiffany? Good to see you. Mismatched Socks says, last time I needed CO2, the local fish store gave me dirty looks because I brought the tank in warm and they had to refill it. Oh, yeah, buddy. Yeah. That's also an issue. The cold CO2, hot tank, or, the temperature exchange, all that kind of stuff is certainly a problem. It's another reason why I just exchanged the tanks. I really do not want to go somewhere that is just really not set up to quickly move through filling up a CO2 tank and do it that rapidly. And then, I'm standing around and people are grouchy. And by the way, there's a pandemic. Last thing I want to do is hang around in an enclosed space with strangers that are coming in and out and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. I legit just want to get in there, put my card into the credit card machine, look at the guy and be like, no, I don't have an account. Personal use. Let's go. And he's like, cool. Type. Print out the thing. Credit card. Sign the thing. Sanitize. Little sanitizer on the neck. You know what I'm saying? You want to have that good. You want to have that good smell. You know what I'm saying? You want to have a little of the sanitizer cologne, just a little behind the ears. You know what I mean? So you get your hands, you get them going good, and then you just a little dab behind the ears just to let the ladies know. You know what I'm saying? To let the ladies know you've been sanitizing. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be. You want to. Reason I bring that up is legitimately I'd gone with the sanitizer, and the sanitizer there specifically at the CO2 place had a real strong odor to it. I think it was the hand sanitizer with lavender or some kind of funky smell in it, And I got into the car and Vicky was like, what is that smell? So I gave a little bit of the old dabberoonies to myself just to generally make Vicky be like, oh. It's kind of like when you reach that point in your relationship where you're kind of like, you got to remember to give her a hard time in a friendly way. You know what I mean? Just because we're homies. We go way back. You know what I'm saying? Vicky and I are homies and we go way back. We chill. You know what I'm saying? We chill out. We hang around. We spend time together. We ramble about. We do projects, So I got to give her a little bit of a hard time. I got to give her a bit of a hard time from time to time. It's kind of one of those things, you know what I'm saying? The zombie drummer says, my girlfriend legit thought I was hugging old ladies or something the other day. Sanitizer had a bit of a floral scent. That's right. You guys, we got to remember, we could be bringing some stress. We could be bringing some stress to our spouses and just remind them that it is just a hand sanitizer. And don't let them worry too much. Don't worry. No. Pipex is here saying hello. What's up, my guy? I think I met Pipex at one of the what was that aquatic experience? I think so. I think that's what I think. But I could be wrong. We'll find out. We'll see. We'll see if there's verification. Stephen Law shows up and says, "Hey, you good? I'm good. I hope you're doing good, man. I hope things are going well, brah. Hope it's going well." Von Lurker added me. Look at that. It shows up in my chat. It shows up in my chat real strong if you guys do the @ and I'll show you. Smart selection. Check this out. See that right there? It shows up real strong. It's highlighted. See that highlighting? So if you guys @ me, it shows up in the chat pretty good, and I do notice it. You know what I mean? So holla at your boy. Holla at your boy. Oh, no. Pipeax says I've never met you on the Super Chat tip. Oh, man. I thought I had. I thought I had met you. All right. I was wrong. But that's very generous $5 Super Chat. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. We got 333 Super Chat from Secret History, Live in Your Aquarium, and I got to get it to it. I don't have much, but I know I love you. That's a bit of Aaron Neville coming at you. Not as good a singer as he is, and I'm not really all that warmed up. So, that's life. But Von Lurker throwing the @ at me is Hotonia, which I don't know if I ever say that correctly. I always feel like it's Hotonia. Palustris is an easy plant. I can 100% recommend that if you do have the water parameters for Hotonia, especially the Palustris version, you're going to be good to go. This is an easy plant. It does use a fair bit of fertilizer, so you probably might want to consider bumping up your fertilization. But if you have soft water and don't have crazy high or crazy low temperatures, you're going to do pretty well. One of the issues that I had with it in the past, I had this, I think in like 2012 or something like that, when it was like a big deal to get it in the Seattle area. Was just it grew really fast. It threw a lot of aerial roots. Was just generally a little it was just generally a little hard to manage in a smaller tank. So if you have a bigger tank, you'll be doing pretty good. You'll be doing fine. It's really an easy plant to grow, but it is kind of a pain in the butt in a small tank. So I would recommend getting a bigger tank for it and just being able to accommodate its growth in a much easier fashion than in a small tank. If you try to do it in a nano tank, you're going to lose your mind. You're going to become super cranky. Your spouse or friends and family, whoever around you, your dog, your cat, whoever's around you would be like, oh, it's very difficult to deal with this person right now, mainly because a plant is growing a little wild. Bentley Pascal says there's been a lot of plywood tanks being built recently. As a craftsman, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the plywood tank. Plywood tanks are fine. I mean, as long as you do the structural engineering, waterproofing them takes a long time. Just putting everything together takes a really long time. And my opinion has always been you could build a big tank out of plywood that you otherwise likely wouldn't be able to afford, but you reach a certain size going downward. So let's say you took a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet of ply, a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet of ply, a 4-foot by 8-foot, and made a tank that big, right? You would probably save some money, realistically, because buying like 2-inch thick acrylic is pretty darn expensive. It's frustratingly expensive. It's one of those things. Let me see what the current price is on a 2-inch sheet cost. Acrylic. No. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So we want acrylic sheets. Let's go with Interstate Plastics. I think I've ordered from these guys before. That's probably why it's on the top of my search. So we want thickness, 2 inch. Here we go, 2 inch. Oh no, we want full sheets. So we want 48 inches by 98, I think is what they come. I think they come 98 because I think they're a little bit proud. We only carry the size you request via special order. 96? Oh, we have to screenshot this. Oh my god. I don't even want to say it out loud. I want you guys to be able to just look at it with your eyeballs and go, and just make weird noises with your mouth at the unimaginable cost that that is just, it's a shocker. It's a showstopper. This is a showstopper right here, you guys. This is a cost that will, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Evil Dead or Army of Darkness, but when the skeleton says, "I'll swallow your soul," it's like that. This is the earth-shattering cost right here. Before shipping, before taxes, is $4,953.35 right now. I believe that the price was cheaper before. Maybe the pandemic has something to do with this, but I couldn't deal with that. I seriously, the other day, was looking at a $5,000 camera and trying to figure out if I was going to get a small business loan to buy one, because I'm that excited about the Canon C70. But you're going to have to get, let's say you wanted to build a 4 foot by 8 foot by 4 foot by 8 foot. That's a rectangle, correct? That's a what? Is that a square? No, that's a big cube. Yeah, okay, big cube. So you need 1 sheet, 2 sheet, 3 sheet, 4 sheet, 5 sheet. You'd need 6 sheets. So you're looking at $30,000 before even anything got built. That stresses me out. That gives you the old pucker, you know what I'm saying? I legit the other day was looking at some property prices in some areas, and I found a 10-acre plot for $18,000. And I will tell you guys, do not buy this much acrylic when you could buy 10 acres of land for 2/3 of the cost. Don't do that. So, if you're talking about some big tanks, you could definitely save some money, right? You could definitely save some money if you were going to build a giant plywood tank, and that's what you were intending to do. You could buy a bunch of 2x6s to shore it up, to build it out, use the plywood, build a big rubber membrane on the inside of it, all that kind of stuff, and definitely save some money. But you're still going to be in a position of spending a lot of dough. You're going to be spending a lot of cash. This better be very important to you, or you're just somebody who's has a bunch of money to throw out the window. And by the way, if you're going to throw a bunch of money out the window, give me a shout out. Give me the GPS where you're throwing this wads of cash out the window, so that I could be there with one of my big fishing nets, one of my big bass net is what I call it, the big one, and then I could, like net some of the cash. I don't want all the cash, but I'm just saying I could net some of the cash with my big bass net and buy some land with it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're wild, just let me know ahead of time. And by the way, if you've got 30 grand just burning a hole in your pocket all crazy, you could hire a guy to do some stuff. I might be that guy. Who knows? So yeah, there's that. But a 120-gallon aquarium is, the last time I got one built was $1,100. Custom built 120-gallon aquarium out of acrylic. I didn't do jack. I basically picked it up and drove it to my house, and I set it up and all that kind of stuff. But had an overflow built into it, had all that going on. Was $1,100, and building a plywood tank. If that took me 4 days, if that took me 5 days, if it was a project that I was constantly screwing around with, plus the material cost to build a 120-gallon tank. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be wasting a bunch of money when you could just have worked a couple extra days, saved up some money, and bought a tank. You know what I mean? So I see value if you were going to go gigantic. I don't see value in doing it in a smaller tank. I really don't. The 240-gallon aquarium I found used on Craigslist. It was in really good shape. It had some issues that I had to fix, but they were very minor, nothing that big of a deal. I had to drill a new hole in it, put in new bulkheads. I had to fix the plumbing and stuff of it. Somebody else had done something dumb to it. But I'm going to be real honest with you guys when I say that was like $800. You're not going to build a 240 out of plywood and it be less than $800 realistically. Once you start to calculate in your time, your energy, the mistakes, the repairs to the mistakes, you know what I mean? And I just don't see the value there. I really don't. I mean, maybe you're just like super bored and you own a bunch of materials that you could build a plywood tank out of, then maybe. But yeah, dude, I don't see it. I really don't. As Secret History says, go buy the 10 acres, dig a 4-foot acre pond instead. yeah, pretty much. Yep. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. Says there seems to be a lot more acrylic tanks for sale on the West Coast than the East Coast. Why is that? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't shop for stuff on the East Coast. But my guess would be it's probably just a regional thing. Like there just probably isn't a lot for sale in your area at the time. I would just keep an eye out for it. What I used to do when I was looking for used tanks is I would go onto like Craigslist and I had a keyword search of like aquarium, fish tank, acrylic tank, large aquarium. You know what I mean? Like I had all these like keywords and I would look those up individually. And you get different results from the keyword searches that you're doing. And so I would generally do that once a week or something like that. Like I just had a thing that, I had like a calendar alarm that would just say like, hey, look for tanks today. It's been a week. Generally Tuesday is the best day. Tuesday is when the most new posts will be made for whatever reason. I don't know. People post stuff on Tuesdays and I don't get it, but it is what it is. So I would generally check on Tuesdays and see what popped up and what was going on with all that. And then that's the advice I could give you. It seemed to work pretty well for me. I generally find a bunch of stuff for sure. Secret History saying I had thought about a 240 or 300-gallon ICB tote with acrylic window portholes. Have you seen that? Yes. Pugman does that a lot. He's got a bunch of them, and they're pretty cool. I'm definitely definitely not the biggest fan personally, but I do like his projects. He is in our Discord, and he does keep us posted fairly often about changes and things like that. So yeah, I've definitely seen quite a bit of those. And if you were going to do that, my recommendation would be to find an acrylic manufacturer or something like that, a local one, and find the cutoffs. They generally have pieces that don't meet their size standards to do whatever projects. They throw them in a pile and they sell them by the pound, generally speaking. In our area, Tap Plastics is probably your best bet for that. But IBC containers are cheap. They're easy to come by. They're constantly being manufactured. So I have 2 here that we just keep rainwater in for auxiliary auxiliary like water for the garden and stuff like that. We just have them fill off of the gutters. So nothing earth-shattering that we're doing with it. Steve Bertich says, what instruments do you play? I play saxophone. I play a lot. I don't currently own a saxophone, but I played a lot of saxophone, alto and baritone specifically. I don't like tenor. I played soprano saxophone a few times. Wasn't a huge fan of it, but I like the tone of alto, kind of my favorite of the woodwind saxophone varietal. I play drums. I play like some pretty solid rock drums. If I started practicing again, I could probably get more intricate, but I really don't have time. Honestly, I really don't. It's just not a project that I could take on right now to be like, oh, I got to practice half an hour a day. I really don't know that I'd be able to fit that in with all the stuff going on. I would probably do a half an hour of painting instead, probably, I think. Also with like my new workout schedule, that's kind of eating up an hour out of my day that may or may not have been being eaten up previously. I played piano because I did music theory, but I wouldn't say that I'm very good at piano. I know like some chords and stuff like that at this point, but it's not practiced. I do have a small keyboard here I've been messing around with a little bit to just maybe kind of pique my interest in getting back into that. But I realistically, it's just me being distracted by messing around with the piano. I mean, that's really what it is. More than anything else. I've sung in a bunch of bands like when I was much younger, but whatever, nothing. It's not like we cut any real records. We DIY'd records and then gave them to people. I don't know. I don't even know if we ever even sold them. I think we just would burn like 300 copies and then just give them away. That kind of stuff. I don't play guitar. I don't do any string instruments realistically. It was never my thing. So I don't know. But there's that. Daniel Velez says, hello, everyone. Hope all are safe, well, and healthy. Yeah. I mean, considering the coronavirus outbreaks that are becoming increasingly obvious that the reality of the coronavirus is more than a lot of people surmised, I think. Excuse me. Zombie Drummer says, hard rock drumming is my thing. That's right. See, if I needed to like get some drum tracks, like I would hit up the Zombie Drummer, which I'm always welcome to receive drum tracks from the Zombie Drummer. You know what I'm saying? U.S. Citizen, I don't think that's your real name. But it might be. Who knows? Hi, Corvus. How often do you do water changes and how much do you change? I do about 50% water change once every 2 weeks. If I was to give you a simple explanation, that's probably what it is. It's about 50% every 2 weeks, generally speaking. Some of my projects and systems have been no water changes. But who knows? Who knows realistically? But if I was to give advice, I would say 40% water change once every 2 weeks for the average person. Realistically. If I, hold on a second. I'm going to mute my. I got some of that top ramen phlegm or something going on here. I don't know. Oh, man. That is hot coffee. That's hot coffee yet again. I always forget that I put hot coffee in my mug and then I drink it like it's not. And who knows? I might be burning my insides. Chevy Fish says they shut down our high school again. Yep. I mean, that's... Yep. That's generally going to happen. I know a lot of people were giving me a hard time because they were like, oh, the coronavirus is not a big deal. We just go back to doing everything normal like normal. I don't know. I don't want to catch a virus at all. And I certainly don't want to catch a virus that seems to, we don't even really know what the side effects are for it. I don't want to catch a virus that we don't have we don't have any of the long-term effects. We don't know that. We don't have vaccines or anything like that for them. So yeah, I don't want that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Big D Smoke says we never opened our schools to begin with. Yeah, that's right. In my area and Big D Smoke, we're in the same area. I don't believe that the schools have even opened. They didn't even try to open yet. I think there are some that are trying to open in November, but now, I don't know, they might end up putting it off. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens, but it's just not a good idea. It just doesn't seem like a good idea at this point. I mean, pretty clearly, a lot of the evidence shows that like kids aren't as wildly affected by it than adults are. But like I said, we don't have a clue what the long-term effects are. My mom was in medicine for 45 years, and she brought up a good point to me, was that like polio. So polio later in life syndrome. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a syndrome that you get from having polio and surviving it years later. Post-polio syndrome. I guess it couldn't have an easier name, right? Is a condition that affects polio survivors years after recovery from an initial acute attack of the poliomyelitis. I think that's right. Virus. Most often, polio survivors start to experience gradual new weakening in muscles that were previously affected by the polio infection. So it's like, 30 years later, disabling signs and symptoms that appear decades, on average 30 years later, after the initial polio illness. So like if you'd caught polio when you were 20... God, what the? Oh, that was weird. I think like a piece of dust went flying into my... Oh, whoa. But 30 years later, so if you caught polio when you were 20, 30 years later, you could be having this post-polio syndrome, and it's horrifying, like what happens, like your muscles and everything start to deteriorate and stuff. I'm like, so, I mean, even in my mind, I'm like, you don't want a virus because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. Like chickenpox, when we were kids, when I was a kid, all of our parents purposefully exposed us to chickenpox because you couldn't catch it again, which... It turns out you could catch it again, right? If like you somehow got exposed to it in some weird correct way. But either way, you get shingles later on. It is one of the effects from having chickenpox when you were a kid. Like, whoa. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a great idea to just be like, yeah, well, let's sign up for that. Doesn't seem like a good idea to me. And if that doesn't freak you out, I would probably sit down and think about what it is that is making you not be a little bit apprehensive about that kind of stuff, and whether or not you're specifically viewing the world around you and the people in it around you and having empathy for other things that are happening, right? And I see this often with people, and I don't know that I necessarily want to say it's a political leaning one way or the other or whatever, because it's hard to say. Like, I live in a pretty progressive part of the world. We clearly have our problems here, but I live in a pretty progressive area. So to say that it's like, it's this political party or that political party, I don't know, it feels a little bit disingenuous, but I have noticed from a lot of people just some like outwardly really selfish reactions to things that, because they've never experienced it, they're like, that's not my problem. And it seems more to do with first world countries more than not first world countries. So just a reminder to people out there, like maybe you could view outward with a little more empathy and maybe a little bit more, oh, that could happen to me kind of stuff. And I think it would just make things just a little bit easier for really everybody, just a little bit. Like, you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to go crazy, just a fair bit, you know? Let's see what we got in the chat. Crazy technology, and we are still clueless. The vaccine seems to be rushed to know the effects from that as well. Well, I wouldn't be the guy who could answer that. You know, I'm not a virologist or anybody that makes vaccines or anything like that. So it wouldn't be the greatest thing to wouldn't necessarily be the greatest thing to bring to my attention, you know, because I'm always relying on other scientists, peer-reviewed studies, that kind of stuff to find out what's going on. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if it's rushed or not. It seems like it's going extraordinarily fast, but it seems to be going extraordinarily fast because there's a ton of people working on it. That was kind of one of the things that I heard from, was it Fauci? It might have been Fauci was talking about that. I'm not good enough to be able to remember exactly who it was I was listening to. It was somebody that was being interviewed, and one of the things that they had noted was like, yes, we're working on this super fast. We do have better technology now for like the gene mapping or the genome mapping. They were able to do that in like 4 days or 2 days or something like that. Whereas previously, so even with like viruses in the past, it would take them like weeks and weeks, months to just get the genome mapping done. So it seems like that stuff is being expedited, but it's also being expedited by the amount of people working on it. It seems to be a big part of how it's going faster. Wesley's Fish Club says wild polio has been eradicated through vaccines. Yes, but it seems that like some of the vaccines do cause a reaction every once in a while for polio cases and stuff. So I think polio is being I think they're making great progress with polio and all that. It's great. The thing that I was mainly bringing up is that like 30 years later, you survived polio. Where there's a crazy syndrome now that's associated with having survived polio. Then 30, 40 years goes by, and then you have this weird onset later on. Secret History says I had shingles like 10 times due to my autoimmune issue, and it's awful. Yeah, it's not. I haven't personally had it, but my sister had it, and I've known other people who have had it, and it's just not a good thing. It's not something you want to sign up for. Just Bob says, I'm happy that treatment has improved a lot. A lot of people get sick, but fewer people have to go to the hospital or ICU. I'm really waiting for 1 hour tests or sooner. Yeah, those the rapider the bien rapidote, the faster tests are going to be pretty important moving forward. I think that to me has been the biggest issue from out the gate, is a way to test that is much faster and much more frequent to stop this spreading it around. That's going to be like a really big deal. I mean, even you guys see with the White House, how many people are testing and coming up positive now. It's spread around. It spreads to those people. And the point is, if you can test and isolate people quicker, you get less of a spread. And that's been my big thing from out the gate is like, we need to test so we know where it is. We know what's going on. And that should have been in my opinion, that should have been our focus since this whole damn thing happened, you know, and able to, as Daniel Velez says, the data, we need data. We need data. We need the data to know what's going on so that we can, you know, make the, adjustments with what's going on. You know, if you got 500 people working in a building and One person comes in and it spreads to everybody. Now all of a sudden a business is ruined because people are out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and everybody's out, as opposed to a couple people here, a couple people there, a couple people there. That's the one thing I worry about with businesses is like, if people aren't being tested on a regular basis to find out who is possible to spread it around to a business, like if you got like 40 people working for your business, that means you probably got a lot of things going on. You got enough people to be having a lot of people to keep yourself busy to the point of having that many folks working, like 40 full-time workers or whatever, right? And if they if you lose like all 40 workers for 2 or 3 weeks, I don't know how a company would be able to deal with just screwing up that much, essentially, from the customer standpoint. Like if you have all these jobs booked and all of a sudden you just don't show up for a month, you're like a month late or 2 months late or whatever. I can't imagine very many companies like handling that destructive force to their income. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm sorry. I just got a text from my cousin. And it's not something I wanted to talk about today, but I don't know. I just got a text from my cousin, and it's making me cry. Yesterday was the anniversary of my cousin's son dying at the age of 23 years old. Was it 23 or 22? I want to say that he was 23. It was the day after his birthday, and I hardly could even pull off the math of doing the YouTube members 102 plus 216. You know what I'm saying? My cousin just texted me to let me know, to say thanks for reaching out to him yesterday. But my cousin died of an overdose on his birthday because he was by himself. This is before the pandemic. It was a year ago. Like, obviously, drug use is a big deal. It's something that we all have to think about. I've been sober for 6.5 years, longer than that. 6.5 years, I think. Yeah, about 6.5 years now. And you kind of get into a spot where you kind of think like, oh, maybe I'm not going to be affected by that as much. And then my cousin overdosed and died. And, it's probably stuff like that happens and has happened in my life that affects me in a way that makes me think about how it's really easy to not think about other people and the things that are going on in other people's lives and whatnot. I mean, it's very easy to get really isolated into your own space and your own thing that you're doing. And, if you see a commercial like starving people somewhere, oh, okay, well, I can't deal with that. I don't have time to deal with that. And it's definitely something that I think about on a regular basis on how to solve problems that are much bigger than myself. And that's something that I pretty regularly think about, and not to sound holier than thou or anything like that, because I certainly am not. But that's generally how I try to interface with the world and the world around me and society around me and the things that are going on, is that I may or may not want to, for instance, pay more taxes, right? But I sure as shit want roads. I want power. I want clean drinking water. I want people to regulate those things and make sure that our drinking water is clean so that I can drink water, so that I can also do water changes on my aquariums, so I can also go out into nature and be able to have a chance to experience some of this, the beauty that is this world, without it being completely destroyed by shady companies that will release some kind of pollutant into the water that you can't see or smell and know that they're doing it. And I that's what I want. I want people to be able to go to the hospital. I want people that are having a relapse situation to be able to go, I need to go to the hospital and get some help right now because I just went down this slippery slope I don't want to go down again, but they don't want to deal with the fact that you got thousands of dollars of hospital bills. So I don't want to go to the hospital because I'll probably end up broke again, and I don't want to end up broke again. So forget about it. My problems aren't that important. I want people to be able to have food that is healthy for them so that they know they're not being poisoned by top ramen companies. I eat this top ramen crap. I was joking about it earlier, but the reality is the top ramen has salt. It has a lot of fat in it, has a lot of salt in it, but it's cheap food, and I know that it's cheap food because there are regulatory processes in place to make sure that they're at the very least not putting lead in the food or mercury in the food or whatever, right? That it is edible. I try to look at bigger problems than just my own problems when I'm thinking about if it's something that needs to be resolved. If I come to a conclusion that the problem is insulated within myself, I take the time to sit down and meditate and breathe for 15 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 90 seconds or whatever the hell it is to go, wait a minute, is this problem just me being in my head and it's not really that big of a deal? And should I be focusing on bigger situational stuff that does have an impact in the world? Some people would say that I'm a huge leftist, or I'm a this, or I'm a that. Oh, you libtard, yeah. Oh, cool, man. That's so much fun. It's so much fun to be involved with 50-year-old adults who name call people. Like, what is that? It's the year 2020, and this is how adults behave in the United States. It's monumentally frustrating to me, and we're literally at the point where the person who's supposedly in charge of this country is currently taking dexamethasone. What is it? Dexamethadrine? He's literally taking this crazy drug to hopefully get over the coronavirus. In the meantime, that's the guy who's in charge, who has been previously out of his mind, yelling and calling people names and doing all this crazy stuff. And somehow this is a normalized behavior from adults. We tell children not to do that stuff, yet we accept it from somebody in their mid-70s. And we're just out here like, oh, I guess that's normal. There's not much that I can do about that. I mean, yeah, I get the frustration. I 100% understand the frustration. After Ralph Nader didn't get the 5% of the vote that I pushed for to hopefully get the federal funding, to get federal funding to have a third party in place. And all that has happened since then is things like the Patriot Act, in order for us to just be spied on 24 hours a day. Who's that dude? What the hell's that dude's name? I forget his name right now. He wears glasses and has a goatee. I would admit that I'm a better looking version of that look than he is, but he's probably much smarter than me, so he's got that going for him. But it's not Julian Assange, it's the other guy. He keeps getting to go on Joe Rogan, which is great. And that guy has to live in Russia now because he exposed something like the Patriot Act for what it really was. Edward Snowden. There we go. That's his name. And yet here we are in an election where we have to try to elect somebody to avoid certain things like the policy platform. Now, I want to show you guys something. GOP 2020 platform. I'm going to legit look it up right here, and I'm going to get a screen capture. And I want to show you guys something here that was pointed out to me. Let me get my screen capture here. Go smart selection, so you guys don't have to look at my taskbar at the top. So you guys can see me currently right now. I'm online. Right? Here we are. I'm going to open the PDF file from the 2020 National. They haven't even updated the damn thing because they copy and pasted it from 2016. And somebody thinks that it's a good idea to vote for these guys. Wait, did I end up on the... Oh, maybe I clicked on the 20... Nope. Nope, that's the very top one. Yeah. Yeah, here it is right here. 2020 Republican National Convention. And this is the National Committee. And it still has 2016 as its cover sheet. Because let me scroll down here. Now, somebody pointed this out to me on page 31 here. 31. Right here. Marriage, Family, and Society. This section right here highlights that's why everyone should be concerned about the state of the American family today, not because of ideology or doctrine, but because of the overwhelming evidence of experience, social science. And where does it say right here? It basically says that they want to overturn gay marriage, and they want to do it from the... Can I highlight? Oh, I can't highlight. They want to do it from the perspective of... from the Supreme Court. Let me see. It's also... where the hell did it go? It was in here. I probably should have looked this up ahead of time. But I really wasn't planning on talking about this today. Where did it go? I mean, I have this open in another page. Why does it say 2016? This doesn't seem right. Republican platform. Have they taken it down? I'm wondering if they took it down. I'm thinking that they may have taken it down and replaced it with the 2016 one. Because on page 31, and I do remember looking this up, in page 31 here, it talks about overturning from the Supreme Court, and now it seems like it's different from yesterday. We've learned the 5 decades tend to be physically, emotionally other. Am I like skipping over and somehow reading and not reading the right part? Where did it go? This is what it takes for a governmental village to raise a child, which is very interesting because it highlights in here, where does it say? The 40% of children who now are born outside of marriage are 5 times more likely to live in poverty than youngsters born and raised by a mother and father. But yet back here it highlights a dual... Should be concerned about the state of the American family today, not because of the ideology of doctrine, which gives us these truths. A two-parent household tend to be physically and emotionally healthier, right? And right here, it gives you the two-parent household, and then down here, it claims that it's mother and father. Yeah, I don't know. This before it was saying that they wanted to overturn from the Supreme Court, and it seems like they've changed it now, which is crazy. So they've changed their platform to only have the 2016 one up now. Let me see. Republican Party platform. Oh no. But now it's only one page. How do we go? Where's the rest of it? How weird is that? Well, I know there's like probably a lot of people are super pissed that I'm taking this sidebar right now, and I understand that. I fully respect that people want to get pissed off. You're more than happy, or you're more than obliged to be happy about being mad. You can do whatever you want. It's all good. Yeah, so here we go. Strong families depending upon God and one another advance the cause of liberty by lessening the need for government in their daily lives. Conversely, we have learned that over the last 5 decades, the loss of faith and family life leads to greater dependence upon government. That's why Republicans formulate public policy from taxation to education, from healthcare to welfare, with the attention to needs and strengthen the strengths of the family. Is why everyone should be concerned about the state of American family today. I don't understand why. Yeah, because it has changed since the other day. It looks like they took down the 2020 one and replaced it with the 2016 one. Well, maybe it's over here. Oh, here it is. Nope, they added a page, so now it's not on page 31 anymore. Now it's on page 32. For that reason, as explained elsewhere in this platform, we do not accept the Supreme Court's redefinition of marriage, and we urge its reversal, whether through judicial reconsideration or a constitutional amendment returning control over marriage to the states. We oppose government discrimination against businesses or entities which decline to sell items or services to individuals or activities that go against their religious views about such activities. So it looks like what they did was they added a page so that it's down on page 32 now. But this right here is a full-on explanation of what you, as an American, should have an understanding of what this platform, what this public platform that is running for the president, this explains it right here. As explained elsewhere in this platform, we do not accept the Supreme Court's redefinition of marriage, and we urge its reversal, right? So first of all, this is the party that constantly says they do not accept, that they always go like, the Democrats don't accept that Donald Trump was elected. It's in your platform that you don't even accept the Supreme Court ruling, right, on whether this follows the Constitution or not. It's in your platform that you don't accept law. You don't accept judgment. You don't accept the government's judgment from the Supreme Court. We oppose government discrimination against businesses or entities which decline to sell items or services to individuals for activities that go against their religious views about such activities. So this literally right here is an explanation that the Republican Party does not accept. They do not accept, stated in their own words, they do not accept the Supreme Court's ruling. First of all, they urge for a redefinition, and they oppose government discrimination against businesses or entities which decline to sell items or services. So, in their own platform, they say we oppose government discrimination against businesses or entities which decline to sell items or services based on somebody's religious beliefs. Within our Constitution, you cannot discriminate against other people because of your religious beliefs. And the businesses that have had to be basically curtailed from discriminating on other people. Right? So they basically oppose the government enforcing anti-discrimination because our Constitution states that you're not supposed to be able to discriminate on other people's beliefs. Justin Clark says, senior counsel for the Trump campaign, President Trump won in 2016 on this platform, and he'll win again in 2020 with this platform. So the reality is we're at a point where we have a political party in the United States that doesn't accept what has happened in the United States, doesn't accept what the Supreme Court has ruled, doesn't accept that the rulings, whether something is constitutional or not, or being able to discriminate on people because of your religious views, as we're supposed to be a secular country. As far as our governance goes, that you're supposed to have the freedom of your religion. That doesn't mean you have the freedom to discriminate on other people because of your religion, right? We're secular government. And yet here we are in the year 2020 with a political party literally copy and pasting their political platform from 2016 that literally says in it, we just don't even accept what it is that they've decided. And this kind of stuff stirs up a lot of emotion in me because I literally had a text from my cousin in relation to the death of my cousin, and how this all connects to me is that we're trying to get, we as a people are trying to get healthcare to everybody, and not even from just a humanitarian point of view, but because it's more cost effective. It's more cost effective for everyone to have healthcare than the system that we have right now. Because we have a secular government, we cannot discriminate against people, which means our hospitals that have tax dollars funding them, right? Because you can't close a hospital in underserved areas. The government will step in and fund it one way or another to keep underserved areas, which means like Wyoming, right? They have to keep those hospitals open. They have to figure out a way to keep those hospitals open. And if somebody shows up to the hospital, you cannot refuse them life-saving treatment, which I agree with. You should not be able to turn anybody away from the hospital. But because we're operating in that fashion, we're spending a ton of money treating people on the back end, waiting until an emergency happens instead of doing some preventative maintenance like changing oil in your car, right? It's like driving your car around, never changing the oil and wondering why the motor blows up at 50,000 miles and saying, like, this car is supposed to get 200,000 miles. And the equivalent to that is a 38-year-old person having a heart attack because he's never been to the doctor to get some preventative maintenance on his body and having a heart attack at 38 instead of living to be 78. And then having a $130,000 emergency hospital bill, which is generally what happens. We have a country of 335 million people. We'll wait till the census comes out to see how much higher it has gone from there. But the estimate is 335 million people. There's accidents happening constantly. And emergency professionals work really hard for those people to not expire on their watch, Fishy Mindset says, that's it. I'm doing a water change. I'm still watching, though. Yes. How does that tie in with our aquariums? I mean, we have to do water changes in our aquariums and things like that. We have to do the preventative maintenance otherwise to continue our aquariums to maintain a good health with them and a healthy balance with them. But if we don't have things like the EPA testing the waters to make sure that the water up in the mountain that's coming from the reservoir, down the hill, down into the reservoir down here, going through the water treatment plant, to being tested at the water treatment plant to make sure that it is within safe levels, that's being shipped through the pipes, that need to be checked on a regular basis, that people need to crack open, firemen need to go and crack open they need to go crack open the big water mains, drain out the water, test the water, make sure that everything's working properly, that they're not corroded and rusted and falling apart and all that kind of stuff, that the pressure is correct. Like, there's a ton of stuff that goes into this, and we have a gigantic system. We have a gigantic system that is, I think, pretty obviously flawed at this point, and we want to keep going forward with this system, right? I do. I sure as hell do. I sure as hell think it's better to improve this system than throw it in the trash and hope that we'd be able to dream up some kind of weird thing better. Aquarium Channel 420 in New York City says a high-rise carpenter for 30 years. Any job site can be union and non-union workers. Yep, 100%. I've 100% seen that. I've seen that just time and time again. And I will say, like, from this crazy debate that happened last week, and I didn't really talk about it very much last week because I kind of wanted to think about it. I wanted to think about what my takeaway was. It's two old guys, it's two old curmudgeon dudes arguing on stage about stuff that they're probably not even prepared to talk about because it seems pretty clear that's the case. If we're talking about these two dudes, one thing that stood out to me was Joe Biden brought up implementing new jobs programs within the United States, implemented through tax-funded systems that we desperately need. We desperately need some kind of jobs programs. We really do. We can't leave it all up to 100% just billionaire companies. And I think a perfect example of that is that I saw somebody had posted earlier today, how many years has it been that Flint has not had clean water? And some people would say, well, that's obviously the government's problem. It's a gigantically deep-rooted, wacky, weird problem that is going on in Flint where two groups are fighting against each other. It's a mess, but a bunch of billionaires promised that they were going to fix it. Billionaires like Elon Musk, who, I don't know, he got weirdly too busy making flamethrowers instead, and apparently sent out some water filters to the schools, and that was basically like, I fixed it. There we go. Okay, cool. I got the advertising on Twitter because everybody thought I was like real nice for a little while there. I got a bunch of free advertising. But none of the charitable billionaires have even bothered to go fix the water in Flint, right? 540 billionaires in the United States, and that water is just still crappy, you know? Yeah, it's Nature Man says, like, I can't vote for Biden or Trump. And I understand, like, wanting a third party. But after Ralph Nader didn't hit the 5%, he got 4.7%, which at the time was the bar. So in the United States, federal tax money gets given to the Republican National Committee. Is that right? And the Democratic, the RNC and the DNC. I can't remember if it's committee. I think it's committee. I don't know. Who cares? You guys know what I'm talking about. The red one and the blue one. They get a bunch of federal tax dollars to run their presidential candidate. Ralph Nader was running, realistically, to not win. He was running on the Green Party ticket. I don't even really agree with the Green Party ticket. I was just like, dude, oh, red, blue, and green? Oh, cool. But at the time, the bar was hit 5%. If they hit 5% of the federal vote, the next election, 4 years later, you get a third of that pie. And at the time, I think it was approximately $350 million. So you're talking about this other party getting over $100 million of federal tax money towards what they were going to run ads on TV and campaign and all that stuff. And he only got 4.7%. He only got 4.7%, and that meant that a third party was not acknowledged for the next election. And you want to know what happened in that 4-year period? They extended what you had to get in order for a third party to get that funding. I believe that they took it from 5% up to 15%. Somebody could look this law up for me. I haven't read it in a long time. But they expanded basically the metrics that you had to hit to get that federal tax money. They expanded it much higher. The bar, they moved the bar. They took the goalpost and they moved it way outside of the track. Secret History says 15% is yes. So they took the goalpost of 5%. They moved the goalpost out of the stadium to 15% out there so that the next election, it's not even the current election. It's not like during the primaries somebody gets 15% of the federal vote, because as you've seen, our primary system is a disaster. People in Iowa go to a high school gym and then walk around in groups and, oh, there we go, somebody's nominated. They took the goalposts and moved them to another stadium. So instead of trying to kick a 55-yard field goal, you're attempting a 105-yard field goal. 105-yard field goal outside of the stadium. And then people go, oh, well, why can't we get a third party? Well, there you go. That's why you can't get a third yard. That's why we can't get a third party right now. You got to get this crazy amount of money. So we're literally right now trying to get some younger influence within our government. Is Orrin Hatch still alive? I don't want to despair. Orrin Hatch. Is that guy still alive? I think he might have died. Oh my God, no, he's still alive. Served as a United States Senator from Utah for 42 years. I don't know if he passed away or not. No, he's still alive, I guess. He's still around. But either way, I saw a video, which was from the Senate, and it was one of the Judiciary committees or something like that was meeting. It was a couple years old, so that's kind of why I was wondering. I was sworn into the President pro tempore of the United States Senate in 2015. So I don't know exactly what year it was. Maybe it was a couple years ago. I'm not 100% sure. He might have retired or something. I don't know. Either way, it was an slightly older video of Orrin Hatch talking about Facebook. And it was basically a guy who did not understand the technology of what was going on, right? And it's not a cut at somebody and whether or not their intelligence exists or not. But if somebody came to ask me about the specific production of eyeshadow, right? And then from there, I was like, oh, wait. Oh, man, somebody's blowing me up on Instagram. Oh, my God, it's another person, like, asking about this camera. All right, I'm done. I'm done with these people. I'm pretty much done with these people bugging me about this camera. I'm going to send it. I'm just going to send it to the website, and they can buy it off of a website used for much more money. It's basically how that's going to go. Long story short, for you guys, I'm trying to sell this Canon 6D Mark II. I have it listed with the cage and the battery grip and all that kind of stuff. I have it listed for $1,000, $999. The best price you can find for this camera without the accessories is about $12.99, so about $300 off. The used camera website that will buy it from me for $973, because whatever that weird number is that they've come up with, that's the way that they figure it out. So I've offered it essentially for the exact same price to locals, and these people are driving me bonkers. I gotta tell you, and it's literally happening during the show. So they have even disturbed this show. But the thing is, when I talk about like that video with Orrin Hatch trying to talk about Facebook and how the internet works, right? The functions of the internet. It's not a cut on his intelligence or whatnot. He seems to be a very intelligent guy, but he has never spent really any of his time invested in learning how computers work, how the internet works, how email works, any of that kind of stuff, right? And the reality is that it would be like asking me about the specific how to produce and make and manufacture eyeshadow. I would be like, well, I guess it's a thing that you rub in your face, and you probably got to make a plastic container, and you got to put it in there with a thing, and then rub it on your eyes. And yet this guy is president pro tempore of the United States Senate, right? And then they're going like, well, we got better make some regulations for these computer people, because these computer folks, they really computering, And you're like, yeah, I guess they are computing and doing computations with their computers, right? Yeah, so, yeah, I got on this total sidebar here, and that's why it's a long format show. And that's why it goes unlisted after it's uploaded, because if you guys want to watch it later, you can. But people get super pissed. They start slamming their cameras around, or they start slamming their computers around and their phones and start screaming into the void that is the internet. And, yeah. Ziggy Boys is asking, I got a plant like hornwort, but the leaves are pointing down instead of up. Anybody know what the name is? I'm drawing a blank, dude. I don't know. I do not know. Aquarium Channel 420. Oh, but the big standout from the debate that was going back and forth was that Joe Biden's plan was talking about the prevailing wage and jobs and producing jobs that would follow prevailing wage. There's a point in time in my life where I was paid prevailing wage, and it's one of the times that in my life that I literally felt like I was working a job for the pay rate that you were supposed to be getting. That it was like, I'm busting my ass working 15 hours a day, which means a whole entire day is gone, but my paycheck actually reflects sacrificing a whole entire day of work, sweat, blood, tears, thinking, planning, doing all that kind of stuff. And, yeah, working on prevailing wage jobs was the one time that I ever felt like, oh my God, the pay scale actually makes sense for this gig. Like I legitimately spent $300 on some tools so that I would be doing the job better, right? Because I wanted to continue working there, which I do that for YouTube, and I do that for Aquarium Co-op. I legitimately spent like $50 today on some drill bits and things that I wanted to be able to do my job better. But working prevailing wage, I really was like, oh, this is a career I should invest in, and I could keep doing it. And being somebody that was working hard, had the qualifications to do it, and was just doing it, and was doing it as best I could. And that was something that really stood out to me during the debates. Was we don't have unions like we used to. They just don't exist. They really don't. I mean, I would have to look up the statistics. I don't know them 100%. I'm not running for office. I don't really need to know this stuff. I just kind of want to talk about it a little bit today. But it was something like 80% or something like that of major corporations had some form of union throughout the 70s. And then up until now, I think it's what percentage of corporations union workers in the USA? Let's see if we can't get a percentage. In 2019, there were 14.6 million members in the U.S., down from 17.7 million in 1983. Or total labor union density was 10.3% compared to 20% in 1983. So literally, like, our union density is cut in half, right? Pensions are gone. Great point from Alex. Pensions don't exist anymore from the 80s. 80% of those have a 401k now. 401k, if you guys don't know, is an investment table that was brought in by the Reagan administration in order to get people to care about the stock market. You know, it was a way to tie the stock market to the average worker. And the average workers didn't care about the stock market because you had a pension. People cared about your pension. People are putting their money into their pension. That was important. And that stuff's all just disappearing. It's disappearing slowly but surely, and no one really seems to care because they just chip away at it. You just chip away at it. And the one thing that really stood out to me was Biden looking to expand prevailing wage jobs. And I think it's probably going to be one of the methods of regulation, like maybe we don't raise minimum wage, but maybe we enforce prevailing wage, right? So maybe that's a way that everybody could compromise. Everybody could compromise in the middle, that like maybe minimum wage stays the same and everyone else has to classify their jobs, their job titles as a prevailing wage position. And at the very least, maybe that would bring that to the forefront of people being able to talk about it and not get into a screaming, yelling match about whatever. Anton Elofsson, all the way from Sweden. Man, I have to admit, I'm super depressed that Vicky and I didn't get to go on our Sweden trip this year. That is a priority of mine at this point. If I generally do nothing, generally speaking, if I do nothing ever again, I'm literally going to take Vicky to Europe and hopefully Asia also. So I don't even care where, just literally take her to somewhere else. Corvus, my Anubius shows obvious nitrogen deficiencies. Will JBL Pro Flora? I'm trying to remember what's in JBL Pro Flora. Man, I've been using Easy Green for a long time, you guys. I'm just starting to become one of those things that like, oh, maybe I got to use some other fertilizers for a little bit just to get on top of it. But let's see what their Pro Flora I don't even remember. Economical and direct plant fertilization CO2 diffuser for what? Okay, maybe plant fertilizer system. Okay, I think I clicked on the CO2 is named. Okay, so they have like a Pro Flora line. Oh, no wonder I'm not familiar with this one. This is the European one. Okay. So let's see what we got here. Product information. Nutrition from aquarium plants. I think this is a CO2. This is also a CO2. Hold on. I mean, CO2 is helpful for any plant, yes. But we want Proflora fertilizer, maybe? Let me get this in here. Let me see what we got. JBL Proflora 24 daily plant fertilizer. Okay, here we go. I think this might give us a little analysis. Okay, I got the 24-day one here. It says you got the 7-day. So maybe we want to try and find the 7-day. 7-day. See if we can't get that. Okay, I'm getting the 24-day one, which maybe it's just like supposed to follow through like on a month, basically, or something. I don't know. I'm going to look at this fertilizer. Let's see what's up. Let's just try this one. So you got macro elements. You got Proscape N, iron, NPK. I would get some Proscape NPK. That would be the first thing I would do. Is if I was in the UK, hold on. If I was in the UK, I would get this JBL Proscape NPK. This would be the first like broad spectrum fertilizer I could get. Hold on. Let's get this screen capture smart selection. Let's go like this. I wonder if you guys can see this. That's the problem. I got a 4K screen over here, so whenever I do the selection on it, it ends up getting a little funky monkey, you know what I'm saying? Funky chunky. Alex is wondering about that camera. Just message me on Facebook. Hit me up on Messenger or something, and we'll figure something out. Uh-oh, Aquarium Co-op's going live. Oh, that means I got to end this show. Product information. Please use details. Maybe it's in the details part. Content, EN code, weight factor, packaging. I mean, I'm not really getting a solid like analysis of what this product is. I wish there was something like a little bit better. But like NPK is going to be your like general use fertilizer, basically. Like, and this is where I would always recommend people to start out at, is any kind of NPK is going to be kind of where you want to be at realistically. Just start out there and start fertilizing and kind of see what you're going. Then you basically want to be checking your nitrates is what you want to be testing for, and kind of hit that 30 to 60 parts per million range, and you're generally going to be hitting what you want. All right, I don't know. Personally, I just recommend people to get Easy Green. It's easy, super easy to do and figure out. Yes, 24 is for daily. Okay, yeah, I would say just give it a shot and see what's going on. Make sure that you have a good amount of CO2 going on in there and whatnot. Yeah, all right, guys, I love you very much. I got a little distracted, as always, during the show, but this is a live show. I've tried to mention that to people on numerous occasions. Some people get it, some people don't. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's a live show. I talk about whatever the heck is going on. So if you want to influence the show, start commenting, leave your comments, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to be talking to you on the other side of the screen.